As you probably know, my dad bought this Mercedes E350 for only $800 and then gave it to me for free in the hopes that I can fix it. And it has a 3.5 V6 engine that is slightly broken. After seeing that smoke and hearing the engine knock, I've decided to borescope the cylinders, and I found scored cylinder walls and a puddle of oil. So I decided to remove the engine and tear it all apart. If you haven't seen the previous video, there is a link in the top right corner. You can go ahead and watch that and then come back to this. But this is what we have right now. All the parts on the table, and the block is, in my opinion, okay. It does have some score marks, but the most damage is to the pistons. The piston skirts are heavily damaged, and so I went ahead and bought new pistons. I did look for a new engine block as well, or second hand in good condition, and this is what I found. The options that are affordable are also damaged. So do I buy another damaged engine or should I keep building my own? And so obviously I decided to clean my own and see if we can work with it. After cleaning the engine block, it did turn out to be much better than I thought in the beginning. There are still some marks, but nothing to be concerned with. One side is actually in really good shape, the other side has a little bit of score marks, but nothing to catch your nail, so it's not really a big deal. I would say that this is a good usable block. Now, before we start reassembling the engine, we have to clean the parts that I'm gonna reuse very well. Now I'm gonna take both heads completely apart just because I need to clean them, and also I need to replace the valve stem seals. I believe that that's why this engine was burning so much oil, so I have new ones and they need to be replaced. I'm compressing the springs with this tool, and that gives me access to the valve retainers, and I'm using a small magnet to easily remove them. These are the valve stem seals that I was talking about, and they are in bad shape. I'm sure that this was the main cause of oil burning. The valves are in very bad shape. There's a ton of deposits on them, and this is how I clean them. I use a drill, connect the valve in there, and sandpaper, and that cleans everything off. But I pay attention not to remove too much material from the valve itself and deform the shape of it. This is a time-consuming process, but it's definitely worth it. Or you could just buy new valves if you want to. To install the valve stem seals, I'm using a deep 10mm socket. It works perfect. When it comes to reinstalling the valve retainers, I found that the best solution is to have a magnet connected to your screwdriver for a little bit of time before you start this job so that the screwdriver is properly magnetized, and also use some oil on the valves so this way the valve retainer sticks to it. With both heads cleaned and reassembled, it's time to move to the pistons. Now I'm gonna reuse the connecting rods, so we have to only swap the pistons. Very important to know here is that you need to maintain the position of the connecting rod when it connects to the piston, and also the position that it will take inside of the engine block. Now this is the most exciting part for me. We have all the parts laid on the table, they've all been cleaned and prepped, and now the assembly can start. As you can see, everything is in the original position, so I haven't mixed anything up. We can go ahead and start reassembling. I've also cleaned the oil pan and the timing cover, the oil filter housing, lower oil pan, intake manifold, and the front differential. So the engine is back in, and there are some things that I've already connected, like the ECU and the wiring and the coolant hose there, the vacuum line. I've also connected the oil line down here. The bell housing is connected, even the torque converter. Both exhausts are connected, all the O2 sensors underneath. The wiring is connected underneath as well. So I've also got back in place the power steering pump and reservoir. Also the AC is back in place. So there's not much left. I left all of the spark plugs out, and I'm gonna keep the fuel line disconnected just so that we can prime the engine once everything is installed. I still have to get the coolant bottle back here, the fan, connect some of the hoses back in. We also have to connect all the wheel assembly back on both sides, and that should be good to go. On this side I've removed the strut as well because the drive shaft was a little bit difficult to remove, but that's not a problem. We'll reinstall all of it and it should be good to go. Now about the engine, I don't know if it's gonna run good or not since we reused the block, and I do think that that's gonna be okay. It probably will still use some oil because of some of the scorings that are still left on the engine, but the pistons are new, the piston rings are new, the bearings are new, everything has been cleaned, the valves are completely clean, and the valve stem seals were replaced, new gaskets everywhere, so it should have a better outcome than it was before. Even if it does still smoke a little bit, I don't think that's a big issue. For right now, I want to put everything back together and see how this thing runs. So let's do that. Even at cold start, barely any smoke, and that's probably the residue that was still left in the exhaust, and some steam. So I don't see any blue smoke anymore. I think we're good for right now. We'll let it warm up and see what's what.
pretty freaking good. Also, no smoke.
I hear that it's not knocking anymore.
It freaking sounds amazing. I don't know what this Mercedes in 2007 was supposed to sound like, but I did not expect it to sound like this.
No.
It just sounds like gravel. Maybe a little bit of a hovercraft. You know, he's got a little bit of that. It's floaty. Are we getting?
No.
Dang.
There is no smoke coming from
Literally.
the back, so that's good.
Nada. Nothing. And I mean, listen. It smells like it's trying to get warm air.
Yeah.
It does, actually. It's like, it smells like
Let's
warm
feel
air in
the
here.
engine room.
Okay. Okay.
Sounds okay.
Oh, I see some smoke.
The engine rebuild was successful and I'm happy with the result. As you can see, no smoke is coming out when the car is revved, so I'm thinking maybe the engine block wasn't that bad. I'm gonna go ahead and drive it for a little bit longer and I'm gonna keep you updated on that. And in the next episode we're gonna have to clean everything because it's still very dirty, and that should be the end of this project. So thank you very much for watching, and please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.
But I'm just getting